Our defense, I think that's an area that when I talked a little bit earlier about defensively, I don't just pin that on our defense. To me, that's more of a team aspect, but sure, our defense shares in that. An area of getting out of our end a little bit easier, moving pucks is an area that we look at, but you're consistently and constantly looking at ways to improve your team. And like I said, it's a motherhood statement, but we'll continue to look at that at all positions.
With all the center injuries, do you have any regrets or want to do over on how the David Camp situation played out?
Regrets in terms of?
Well, maybe he would be helpful right now.
Yeah, David didn't want to play in with the Marlies, right? So he left the team, made it clear to us that he wanted a new start. Worked with David on different opportunities to see if there was a trade for him. At that point in time, he decided that a fresh start and moving on was what he wanted, and so we wish him all the best. We're going through a little bit of injury issue at the center position right now. I look at the other way. It's an opportunity for Jacob Quillen to come in. We see what we've got there. I think when you go through injuries, you can look at it two ways. Nobody wants to go through them, but at the end of the day, you're going to have them, especially in a season like this where you're condensed. So you can't there's zero excuses being made. I look at the other way as it's a real opportunity to see the resilience of your group. And, people are going to be given more opportunity. Like I said earlier, everybody's looking for more opportunity. We'll see now who steps up.
The standings being so close, does that give you a little bit of optimism that with a bit of a turnaround, you guys are still in this?
Yeah, the way we look at it too, I don't spend a lot of time looking at the standings right now, right? Like at the end of the day, you have to be process driven, right? Like we want to win the game. You need the result. But if your process isn't right, the odds of you getting the right result very rarely going to occur, right? So our focus right now is making the picture very small. What are the areas that we need to improve upon? Continue to work at that. Once your process gets right, once your game starts to get right, then you can start focusing on where things are in the standings. Certainly, we're aware of what's going on around the league. It's tight, and we've seen it. This is as tight and as competitive as I remember the league being, but it's kind of inconsequential if you're not getting you can't expect everybody else to lose, so you stay afloat. You got to get your game right. So that's where our focus is.
Are you willing to give up future assets in trades, draft picks, prospects?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all sorts of speculation, right? So there's ways to make our team better. We're not going to just go panic and start throwing things overboard just to do something, right? If there's a way that we can make our team better. But again, where we're at right now, you could bring in certain players. If we're playing the way we're playing, it's not so much an individual thing as much as it's a team thing right now. So put anybody in the uniform and playing the way we're playing, we're probably going to have the same result. So number one, get the group stabilized, figure out the areas, and as we've talked about, the areas that we've talked about and identify that we can be better in. But as far as looking at the market, Jonas, it's stuff we do every day. That doesn't change, regardless of where you are in the standings.
What did you see from Anthony Stolarz before the injury in terms of how he played?
How he got injured?
No, his game up into the injury. What did you see from him?
I thought Anthony had a real strong start. I think there was games early in the year that we got points for. It comes back to we had more goals at the end of the night. We didn't outplay the opponent, right? I look at that as we got 2 points, but we didn't win the game, if that makes any sense. So I thought he was responsible for giving us some points early. I think then, as we were a little bit concerned about when Joe wasn't here, I think the workload caught up to him. I think that he'd be the first to tell you his game dropped a little bit. I think it's tied a little bit into the number of starts he had, right? So our hope is that we get Anthony healthy. Got all the faith in the world in Anthony. Glad to see Joe back there. They're a big part of our team, the tandem together and how they play off each other. So I think his start was kept us afloat in some games. And then, like our team, there's some areas that you need to improve upon.
You mentioned just patience in terms of.
Sorry?
So you mentioned patience in terms of like making trades or tinkering with the roster, but in terms of whether you'd have to consider a coaching change, like how much patience do you have there?
Yeah, I've got all the faith in our coach right now, so I don't look at that as the issue. Listen, when you go through things like this, understandably, everything gets talked about and looked about. My job right now is to support our coach, support his message, and support our group, right, and push the group.